When asked, where do the most talented high school dance teams hail from in the state of California, one would hardly think to answer Santa Clarita. But in fact, this area alone, home to such schools as Valencia, turn out some of the most recognized national dance teams in the entire country. High schools in this area pride themselves in placing or winning the nationals year after year. Well, all of them except one. Golden Valley High School wasn't known for much of anything. In fact, Golden Valley would never have even considered dancing were it not for that fateful day when Shannon Anthony arrived on campus. Shannon had been hired to teach honors English.
An opportunity came up to do a hip-hop club. And they just need an advisor to watch the children and make sure that they're not going crazy. And I knew that if I didn't pick it up, the dance team might not happen. So I said, fine, I'll do it. The hardest thing for getting the team started was getting the girls to transition from I'm dancing for fun and just to hang out. This is how they dance in music videos with the booty popping and all of that crazy stuff. And it was quite a bit of effort to move them from music style video and getting them to realize that how to get to be a performer, to be an athlete takes a whole lot more effort than just looking at yourself in the mirror. 7, 8, 9, 10.
I was like, oh, it's gonna be like PE, I can dance, it's pretty easy. And then all of a sudden she's like, you have to stretch this out, you have to do this, and I'm sweating as I'm stretching and I'm like wondering why this is so hard.
We then had to explain you need to be stronger. The only way you're going to kick or jump is if you build your core muscles. They didn't even know what core muscles were. We had to teach them about their skeletal structure.
It was really rigorous. She made it rigorous, but she always, had this huge payoff.
And then we had to instill some discipline. It was the original, well, I'm late to my other classes, why can't I be late here? What do you mean I have to dress appropriately? What's wrong with my regular tennis shoes? We were very strict. They started to see that they were improving.
2 years after the team's inception, the girls learned their first crucial lesson, that their potential greatness required more than just showing up.
They're not following instructions, they're not stretching, they're not doing, we're fine. Everyone else at the school thinks we're doing really well. And then they go to the first meet, and then they got last, and it was like, you can't, as a coach, you can't say, I told you so. But this was a teachable moment. They got their little piece of humble pie, and they ate it, and some of them had to choke it on it. And we came back in, and the girls who really wanted it kind of flipped the switch, and the ones who were just here for fun, those were the ones who fell off to the side.
The second year also exposed Shannon and her staff to the most fundamental challenge in any team sport: money.
We have to pay our coaches out of pocket, we have to buy the costumes, everything is out of pocket. The way the budget is structured, the school, any money that they have goes into the educational part, which is where it should go. I know football is getting all new helmets, which they need because it's a huge safety concern. I've got 2 girls who are 18, and because they're 18, they're not minors anymore, so their boss made them work till midnight on a school night. And then she comes in and is expected to pass all her tests and still perform, and she went to competition. These are kids who have to convince their parents not to keep them at home to babysit siblings. So these are kids who don't have medical insurance, and when they get injured here, it's a big deal because they don't go get help because they can't afford it.
Lack of funds in the third year cost Shannon and the team valuable time, as training is delayed until late October.
Right from the get-go, I'm having some issues with my head coach, not necessarily showing up, canceling a lot, and there were some issues with that. And so basically it came down to that I had to rely on my assistant coach to suddenly promote to a head coach.
I was kind of nervous. I was like, okay, how is this lady gonna be? Is she gonna care for anything that I put forth or anything like that?
Luckily, Namel and the girls instantly bonded.
He's like a brother to us. He treats us like a family. So he looks after us as if we're his sisters, and that's just amazing to me.
And so the team seemed to limp along through various competitions, until finally, amidst the chaos of rehearsal schedules, homework, and financial uncertainty, the team gets a much-needed boost.
All of this at the same time while we're trying to compete, just trying to get our foot in the door for nationals. And then we get to the Arroyo Valley competition and we qualify. And it was like the greatest experience ever. I told the girls and they were screaming, oh my God, we get to go to nationals. And then the problem came of, we have no money, none. We're tapped out. oh, I'm sorry, girls, we can't go to nationals, we can't afford it. They're like, well, what about the school? No, there's no money.
Shannon and the team realize that having qualified for the nationals only increases the pressure. Shannon must address the team's haunting lack of financial resources and transportation.
I started putting together a whole bunch of fundraisers and we started doing things, and then during that fundraising, we got ripped off by the fundraiser. It turned out to be a false company. But thankfully, I had a parent who, the mother became a district-approved driver, and she was able to drive the girls. And then it started getting closer and closer, and rides were being worked out. And then suddenly it was the week of nationals, and it's like, oh my God, it's real, and we're going.
As the day of the national championship draws near, Shannon and Namel make a crucial decision.
I want the girls to have the best possible chance they can. So we analyzed all 3 dances.
I didn't really tell them that we were going to change a lot of stuff. I just changed it, and I just brought it up on them. We started the music, and I said, okay, we're going to change this part, change that part, and we just did it.
And finally, the day of the championship competition. And for the team, the moment of truth has arrived.
We get there the day of, and I'm a complete nervous wreck.
We were in the backstage getting ready. Everybody's getting pumped. Namel's behind us.
Really nervous. I thought that I shouldn't have gave them so many changes, but I did.
So before we were on stage, we were huddled up in a circle. We're all like this, like huddled up in a circle saying, like, we can do this. This is our time to shine. And everyone was like tearing up. And it was just such an intense moment. And right as like we walked out, we see the whole crowd and the light shining on your face.
There's thousands of people, just an immense sea of people.
Like our entrance, I just went over it, and then when we went out, you know, she forgot it, and then she had to come back, and I was like, that's how the whole thing's gonna be. They're gonna forget all the changes that we just went over.
And I'm literally shaking.
And I get on stage, and I get like a clump in my throat, and I can't breathe.
Let's go, GB!
I blank out. I don't know what's going on.
It's LA or the Bay. It's New York, Philly, and the whole DMV. I'm a Detroit player. Then it's North South Cat. Ohio, Pittsburgh. Got St. Louis on deck. It's Delaware, Connecticut. It's New Jersey. Got the bricks. It's Queens, Brooklyn, and yeah, they Maryland, Bronx, Harlem, and Staten Island. Where have you been all my
The whole thing was a blur. I have no idea what happened.
And I was just blown away.
Shannon and Namel are impressed by the team's dynamic performance. But is it enough?
And they call 4th, and it wasn't us. And I was like, whew, we got 3rd. Then they didn't call us.
If we placed, it would have been 3rd or it would have been 2nd, you know?
Then they called 2nd, and it wasn't us. And I was like, oh my God, we didn't place. And then 1st place, Golden Valley, and I had papers in my hand and I like threw them.
It really didn't hit me until like everyone started screaming. I'm like, well, what's going on? And they were like, we won 1st place.
The other schools were there. Valencia was there, Saugus was there, West Ranch, Hart, Canyon. And it suddenly became more than just Golden Valley won. It became Santa Clarita Valley has another national team. Everyone with Valencia stood up, turned around, and clapped for the team. And that was really intense.
Winning the national championship meant more than walking away with a trophy. For the team, it demonstrated that dreams can and do come true. The end of one long journey and the beginning of another.
So money-wise, does the national title help us with the money? No, because we are a sport that is not a sport. We're really looking for those sponsors. Put it in the gym, put it on the football field. I'll tattoo it on my forehead at this point. And the fact that they pulled out this national championship is absolutely amazing. And I'm astounded, and I am so incredibly proud of them.
I couldn't be here with no